Welcome. We're live. Mike Crawford here, Young Jerks. Uh, just doing a test episode tonight, trying some new software, StreamYard. You can definitely leave us comments, tell us what you think about it, about our show as well. We haven't done a show in a little bit. Hopefully you can hear everything, and we can put the comments up on StreamYard, hopefully. I'm behind the board. That's always still an issue. But I just wanted to go live tonight to talk about this Trump insurgency, whatever you call it, the Trump failed coup, the violence that we've been seeing for months, if not years now, from the Trump crowd locally. We've been reporting on it. I want to talk about that tonight. We have some guests, some locals calling in. I think they're going to have some of the same viewpoints that I'm expressing right off the bat. So why don't we get to that? If I can take off the screen share, which I think I can. Here I am. I'm live. But I wanted to add. There's a lot of information, a lot of stories coming out. Anything you want to talk about tonight? Maybe we might put the live link if I could figure out how to do that, and you can call in. But you can definitely leave comments if you want to talk about anything. We want to talk about how this relates locally to what we're seeing, because we're always about the local. But this is a big national story as well. Again, my name is Mike Crawford. This is the Young Jerks, and I'm going to add someone right now to the stream. There she is.
Hello.
Hi. That was so easy.
There you go. Not everything has to be super hard.
That's why I'm trying StreamYard.
This is really interesting, though, because I'm so used to the Zoom thing where it does the mirror, and this is going the other way. So, like, all of my Zoom training from the last almost a year is just getting in my way.
Me too. That's always the case on this stuff. It's weird. Now I'm going to have to do my microphone, maybe. I don't know. It's funny. I had it all set up for Zoom, too. But what I also like about this, it tells me right on the screen how many people are watching over the different platforms, which is awesome. I don't have to look at my phone. And the comments come right up. This is awesome. My name is Mike Crawford. And again, your name is Anna Jeffrey?
Jeffrey, you got it right the first time.
And you're a Malden, Massachusetts resident, I know.
Right.
And you'd hit me up, and I'm kind of familiar with you on Facebook, being a friend and some common friends I think we have. But you were, talking about what's going on in Malden, specifically related to the Trump. I don't know what we call this, the failed Trump coup. What are you calling it?
Usually it's been 2 days. I've been referring to it as an attempted coup in most of my discussions with people. I just feel like that's the easiest shorthand that we have. Storming the castle is definitely another way to describe it, but also I feel like it's giving them too much credit. But yeah, it's
and you're a Malden resident, and the reason why, I'm going to put this back up so people can see. Malden resident Mark Sahidi helped make the coup in DC possible. It was, just something that was posted, sent to me today. And I've been following Mark, some of his activities and some of these local their activities online, and I'm sure you have too. And he turns out to be a Malden resident. He's one of the super happy, fun America people who, they're basically a fake hate group. Like, they don't want to be upfront about their hate. They pretend they're not, but they are. And there's going to be some activity, I believe, on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that activity doesn't actually name him, like this website that I'm posting right now. But tell us about that. What is the feeling in Malden right now, knowing that they had, how many buses did they have? They had 11 buses from New England going down to this Trump riot.
Yeah. My understanding is that there were 4 Massachusetts buses, and then the rest were other folks, but I don't know how many of those were people who, came down from New Hampshire or wherever to meet people in Boston and then go from there to DC. I'll be honest, I was really busy with other stuff right before the coup attempt happened. So while I've been very familiar with Sahidi and his nonsense for years, it was sort of there was that moment after we found out that the Capitol had been invaded, and I, had to sit with my feelings for that a little bit, like, oh, wait a minute. Did our local Nazi go too? And then I found all of this. There's a small group of people who came together, and the one focus that we had, like, we're all in Malden. Did the Malden Nazi go? Did he make it into the Capitol building? What do we know that he did? And I know that sounds really narrow, but also you've got people all across the country. And, when we talk about, everything is local, deal with your local guy first. We can worry about all the rest of them later. Deal with your local guy, clean up your own backyard. So there's a small group of people that came together, put together this website, related but not exactly the same group of people that are putting together the event that's on Sunday. Basically just to tell, people in the community that this person is here, has been here for years. You all have been ignoring him. And this is what happens when you ignore Nazis.
And I think it's really important to note just the past months, because on this show, we generally do only local stuff. We don't usually cover the, national stuff. It's mostly politics and cannabis, but sometimes we have covered the local fash stuff going on. And it became really obvious to us, when I'm not someone that's going to all these rallies, but I have a lot of friends who do, like Rod and Lauren and Greg, and, a lot of folks that we follow and watch what they're doing. And Steve Schaefer, Michael Picard, and just other friends too, and just to see what's been going on. And it's been so obvious that they're getting violent. The Trumpers are getting, like, locally, we saw this. We all knew it. We predicted it. We called it out. The community, everyone's been calling it out. But so many people in the middle, so many people who are not politically active would say both sides are violent. Both sides are corrupt. I don't care. And there's some of them are still doing that even today, which is, I find, nauseating. But a lot of people have suddenly woken up and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. And it's like, we noticed it locally. Did you've noticed that too? I mean, that's what you're basically highlighting here, Anna.
I was there back in 2017 when there were 40,000 of us hollering at, the guys in the teeny tiny little bandstand behind the giant no man's land that the police set up. So yeah, I'm not new to yelling at these guys. It's hard dealing with the moderates, and that's true for a lot of things, but especially when you're talking specifically about fascism, because people don't want to believe it, and the fascists are very good at sticking with enough dog whistles and staying just close enough to the line for most of what they do that the moderates are like, oh, they're not really Nazis.
Right. It's so funny because so many of them are being exposed today. We have a great show tonight already. This is a test run for us. A lot of listeners, a lot of comments. We're flashing all the comments. We got new software. And Anna, you already have an awesome comment from Greg Hausch. He says Anna is awesome.
We're married. That doesn't count.
Yes, it does. Greg is awesome. If my girlfriend weighs in on my show, I'm really happy, because, like, not just because it's my girlfriend, but because who she is. And Greg's that kind of person too. He's like, yeah, I wish he would say that more about me on my show. About Anna. No, that's good though. I like it when it's about the guests, actually, Greg. You're right on the mark. And speaking of guests, we also have some other great callers waiting right now. We have Rod Weber and Lauren Pespiza. Let's just add them to the stream right now. What's up, people?
Oh, hey.
Hey.
Oh, what do I just feel like I just want to defer to Rod. Like, Rod, what do you want to say tonight after all this craziness? You've been calling it out. You've been documenting it. You've made movies about it, about the violence, how violent the Trumpers are getting. And so many people today, these middle of the road people, finally wake up and say, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. What's your comment today, Rod Weber? I was just going to say you are, obviously.
I like to, push people's buttons and beat around the edges, which is one of the things that Super Happy Fun America, previously Resist Marxism, which was Boston free speech, as Anna was saying, here in the Boston area, was going on in 2017. We were at all those rallies ourselves, and it should be no surprise. Strangely enough, I've had people reach out to me and say, well, wasn't this obvious? The Proud Boys have been doing this forever. To which I have to respond, so where were you back in 2017, right after the inauguration when these things were happening? In May of 2017, we had Augustus Invictus at Boston Free Speech calling for insurrection. Boston Free Speech, like I said, became Resist Marxism, became Super Happy Fun America. So I've drawn the parallels between these groups and how Marty Walsh did not respond to that. It is very similar. Now, I'm not saying that Marty Walsh is as bad as Donald Trump. I'm not saying that. However, you've got Joe Biden scooping up Marty Walsh, and I'm thinking to myself, well, he's a bit of a liar himself. In fact, if you go to my Twitter feed, you'll see that I back in 2017, I scooped up all the lies and did the back-to-back, Daily Show style to see Marty lying about what was going on at Straight Pride. And unfortunately, this is how things go. People in power are corrupted by, just by their position. Power corrupts, and so they allow these things to go forward, and it's very unfortunate. We just need to continue to call this bullshit out.
We got some dudes I grew up with who are watching, commenting, who, I think they're good people, but one of the questions came in because they don't know what we're really about. Like our main audience usually knows what we're about. Like, for me, I'm independent, honestly. I used to have a lot of Republicans on the show, a lot of libertarians. You guys know, Lauren and Rod definitely know.
John Hugo.
Yeah. I mean, I've had people on the show who are leaders of this straight pride movement, the Proud Boy. I've had them. I was part of that movement myself, actually, in a way.
Well, it wasn't the same movement at the time.
Yeah, it was different at that time. I was more of a libertarian, let's put it that way. And so I have ties to all parties. I'm not really about parties at all, even though I've gone, obviously, more to the Democratic Party lately, which is weird because I'd never supported Democrats. But this isn't about Republicans, Democrats, or parties. And someone had the question, are Trumpers being labeled as Nazis? I don't think so. I have friends, I have customers. One of my favorite customers is a Trump supporter. Do I think she's brainwashed? Yes, I do. But we're talking about violent individuals, and there's a lot of them in the Trump movement, and they're the ones that stand on the corners. They're the ones that show up at protests. They're the ones who are literally neo-Nazis that Rod has been documenting. They are the ones who want to execute the Jews. They are the ones that believe in Pizzagate and these other fake cults. They're violent. They are violent, and there are a large part of the Trump base. Not all of the Trump base, but I feel like today you're either at this point you're with your country. You actually care about your country, or Trump. You have a choice between Trump and the country at this point. And that's the reality. And that's not my fault. That's not Rod's fault, or Lauren's fault, or Anna's fault, or anyone else that comes on this show and makes a comment. It's Trump's fault. And it's Trump's followers and supporters, because you've let this guy go too far. He's got a mental illness. We know this at this point. There's something seriously wrong. And you really have to evaluate, is it worth losing your job? Is it worth, and I'm not talking about like a casual Trump supporter, but if you're all in at this point, you have to really question. And there is a difference between supporting Trump and going to the Capitol and trespassing and violently attacking people, killing people. So
I mean, they trashed it.
Setting bombs. Yeah. So let's be, that's my answer. I want to ask the panelists, are Trumpers being labeled as Nazis? What do you think about that question?
Well, I'll jump in on a different point that you made there, which is tied in with all of that. I wouldn't say that it's all Trump's fault. If you go back to the Podesta emails, people will say emails. You don't want to talk about just the emails. Well, you know what? Emails are a form of evidence. And if you say that emails aren't evidence, then you don't believe in evidence. But even John Podesta in the New York Times went forward and said that those leaked emails through WikiLeaks were real emails. And in them, the Hillary Clinton campaign documented that they were putting forward what was called the Pied Piper strategy, was that they wanted to elevate outsider fringe characters like Donald Trump and Ben Carson because they'd be like straw men, that they were easier to knock down. So this isn't all Trump's fault. In fact, it was the Democratic strategy to put Trump forward.
Yeah, he never thought he would win in the first place. And then lo and behold, the American public
Yeah. So
Followed that Pied Piper.
So we have to remember that these people in power do what they do in order to not only to attain power, to keep power. They do these things not for fucking good reasons. And as Greg is pointing out, NSC 13, run by Chris Hood, who's been out at all these things, flying the Sonnenrad, flying actual Nazi flags, are out at the Super Happy Fun America rallies. They are out at Boston Free Speech and Resist Marxism, and they're starting riots. So if we get past the fact that Clinton put these fucking things forward, Trump is the one who is actively courting the people at Charlottesville. You've got Matthew Heimbach, again, Augustus Invictus. You've got the crying Nazi. All these motherfuckers are people that, Trump is saying, oh, they're good people too. And then after months and months and months of saying, stand down and stand back. And he's basically telling the Proud Boys, okay, we're not going to do it now. But now we're going to do it now.
Yeah.
Which was this thing with the sixths. And so should we be at all surprised? No, we shouldn't be surprised, because this is what they've been pushing for. This has been their message all along.
What's interesting, we have a New Hampshire police chief who was actually in the Capitol building on Wednesday with selfies of himself, and the town selectmen have pretty much decided that he does not need to be fired. I would like to know who that person is, and which town in New Hampshire that's from. That's a comment from one of the viewers that just came up. Because this runs deep. I mean, one of the things we were noticing on the videos was that the Capitol Police were actually letting them in and like guiding them through into the Capitol. This was not like, if this was Black Lives Matter protesters.
Well, I mean, but this is also, that's congruent with my experiences with the Capitol Police.
Yeah.
So so on the inauguration night, I was actually there was tons of maggots running around, basically accusing everyone who was a lefty of heinous kind of things. And so at one point they actually accused me of having a bomb. They went to the Capital City Police, and the Capital City Police, without asking the people who made this accusation to stay and stand by their accusations, they went after me. So this was the thing. I saw what the maggots were doing, and I could see the police coming for me. So I turned on my camera. This is actually the final scene of my 2016 documentary, Flowers for Peace. And after they determined that I didn't have a bomb, after they practically strip searched me, sorry, Dave, I got to turn you off. I said, well, where are the people that accused me of this? We have to hold them accountable. And nothing. So
yeah, and that's
not surprising to me.
That's been the experience over and over and over again. The police not holding the Trumpers accountable, and it's gotten worse and worse and worse.
Because they're the one and the same thing.
Yeah, cops and clans go hand in hand. I mean, that's all the way back from slave catchers to convict leasing to Jim Crow. I mean, it's been going on for centuries. I mean, this is America, like it or not.
So we got a name of the police chief, it looks like, too. We got Jeff Taylor, who is also, we're going to add him to the stream right now. But allegedly, it was a Troy, New Hampshire police chief, David Ellis. So we got police chiefs, we got state reps, we got all kinds of elected officials all across the country who did illegal things, and they filmed themselves this week. And now all the right-wing personalities, the people grifters, are putting their photos up and getting them fired from work. I love it. They're self-destruct. What's up, Jeff Taylor?
Not too much, Mike. Good to be here. Thanks. Definitely want to see these people get what they deserve. Supposedly the police are there for the law, so these people broke the law. Let's see them enforce the law.
And I see that you have an Ed Markey sign behind your head there, right?
Oh yeah, I do. I forgot about that. Yeah, I've had it there.
Can I jump in and say I'm going to?
Well, before that, I want to because when we bring up Ed Markey, I think of Malden, and I also want to mention there's an event this Sunday, right?
Yeah, Sunday at noon, City Hall Plaza. We are having a Malden Rejects the Coup rally.
Is that because Mark Sahady is from Malden?
That definitely got us going on it. Yeah, I heard that he got some bus loads of people.
11 bus loads
down to DC.
Well, and, some of those buses were canceled, so I feel like they rode in with the real Nazis or something.
They probably did. Because
So-
I heard there's pictures of him there, so we know he got there.
Oh yeah, he went
I saw
down.
him on the bus. I saw pictures of him on the bus. And
Yeah, he was on the bus.
Go ahead.
A new photo has actually come out today. That is the Haiti inside the Capitol building.
Oh,
Which-
perfect. Where was Samson?
He was there too. We know he was
Was he?
there.
Do we have proof? Because I've been being asked
Oh,
by people.
yeah, I saw video. He had video. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if he was
that.
inside. He was the video I saw. He was like filming as they were like breaking down the barricades outside, but he wasn't. He didn't seem like he was participating in that. It seemed like he was just
He's
filming
going
it.
to law school after all. You know?
Yeah. So
he's there for research
funny.
purposes only, right?
Mm,
yeah.
yeah.
And Diana Ploss was there.
Oh, she was all over the place there.
I it's funny because people have accused her, Howie Carr and others have accused her of being a plant, like for Antifa. But it occurred to me, maybe she's working for the feds and setting people up because all she did last night was interview people about their crimes.
She set them up pretty good.
She was like, "What's your name? Is your name? Oh, okay. Hi, John." Like it was like the guy, and then the guy would tell her about what he.
Because they're not wearing masks. Oh, it's my cousin. It's my cousin John. Last name,
Yeah.
hometown. Like,
Yep.
I've often thought that about Alex Jones.
Yeah. I wonder.
That he tries to get people on his show so he can then get the feds after them, or whatever. He's got some sort of thing happening.
So I think if they had invaded the Capitol and occupied it for the purpose of demanding Medicare for all, I wouldn't so much have a problem with it. I don't think it's necessarily an occupation or the quote unquote crime that's the problem. It's the fact that they're fucking Nazis. I mean, I think that's the issue.
They're waving Confederate flags.
Well, yes. I mean, it's a combination of all those things. It's the long history of inciting violence in combination with being at the Capitol.
Let's talk about why they're there too. They're there to throw out black votes. Like really, that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to overthrow places that the black vote won. Like that's disgusting to me. And you're all mostly white men.
oh yeah.
I don't disagree with that, but the point being is that I think we have to be careful about talking about is it the occupation which is the issue, because certainly in Portland there's certain things like this going on with trying to take over the court building there, and I don't think that occupation is so much the problem. Right. What I'm saying, it's the fact that they're fucking Nazis, the fact that the Black Lives Matter are treated differently than these people were, and you see the cops waving them. So I think there's nuance, and the nuance is important.
Definitely, there's no justification. They were treated, like you said, way differently than Black Lives Matters protesters. Even the disabled protesters from 2017, they were being pulled right from their wheelchairs.
Yep.
But these people, Duck Dynasty sees nothing like that at all.
Yeah. And so even at the inauguration, you had 217 protesters that were arrested, and they had 70 years hanging over in jail, hanging over their heads. And you have Fox News now complaining, oh yeah, 10 years. All right. So I mean, again, not that we need more years hanging over people's heads, but the difference is stark, and it's just it's fucking horrifying. The difference. Quite honestly,
Jeff, I think you got a lot of background noise going, so we're gonna mute.
Oh yeah, I'll move to a different place here. Give me a second. So my
Thank
kids
you.
running around in the background.
Yeah. We also have another question from the same gentleman, Derek, who asked the other question about are all Trumpers Nazis? Now he's asking, are we sure Nazis is the right label? I think when you call yourself National Socialist Club.
Nationalist Social Club.
Yeah, you're a Nazi. I mean,
they flew a Sonnenrad in front of the State House, and they
Rod could tell you about it all day. Yeah,
Trumpers. We've seen them ourselves. They said the only reason they didn't knock us out was because we were white. We got in their faces one time. I mean, they are fucking Nazis. Like, there's no. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear on your show, Mike. There's just no getting around it. I'm not saying every person who supports Trump is a Nazi. They might just be stupid, but we have seen white supremacy and straight up like Nazi, like SS belt buckles, SS tattoos on these people time and time again.
John Cameron.
Yeah. There's so many, like we've known these people for years, and yes, Nazis is the right word for the people that we're describing. I'm not going to apply it to every single person who supports Trump, but I don't think it's a long jump to that.
Yeah.
And
I mean, go ahead.
One thing I think people get hung up on is like when we call these people racists or Nazis or white supremacists, people will point out, oh, there's one brown person over there. And I think it's really important for people to understand that just like there are women who are anti-feminist, there are brown people who choose to side with white supremacy because
just like
it gets them, you know, some of the benefits of being the oppressor. Like, when we talk about the whiteness of the crowd protecting them, it's not just that their skin is pale, it's that they're specifically there fighting for white supremacy and backed up by a president who loves white supremacy. Like, that's where you have to dig in. And yes, these people are Nazis. They have Nazi tattoos. They fly Nazi flags. They burn swastikas in Charlottesville. Did we all forget that? And Trump has concentration camps where he puts brown people.
I'm gonna quote Monica Cannon Grant. I love her quote. It's if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, guess what? It's a friggin' duck. I mean, that's it. This is so simple.
It's a Nazi.
Yeah, it's a Nazi. Like, we know what they are.
Yeah.
We even know the ones who say they aren't Nazis because there's a lot of them now. They don't want to be labeled Nazis. They know that that's not good for their cause. So,
right, but
non-Nazis don't hang out with Nazis.
Go ahead, say that.
People like Enrique Tarrio, who is clearly dark-skinned, and I feel like a broken record having to say this over and over again. Those people are best labeled as ultra-nationalists, and so they all have a nationalist agenda. And so someone like Enrique is willing to work with white supremacists in order to achieve that nationalist agenda. Or then you've got like Jovi Val, who is one of the people that went to all the resist Marxism rallies. He's at least according to what he says, of Puerto Rican descent, but would wear a Nazi medallion. He's seen many times with a Nazi flag behind him. And well, I'd just say Jovi's confused, but I mean, he's been out, at many of the resist Marxism things, and was openly doing anti-gay chants and these kind of things. So it's actually not even just racism. It's extreme homophobia, which is obviously tied into the whole straight pride thing, which was 2019. And they're just generally dislikable, fucking awful people.
And a lot of these groups, like the Proud Boys, have been labeled as hate groups. I mean, they've been designated by the people who are experts on hate.
The Southern Poverty Law Center.
There you go. Southern Law Poverty Center. I always get it screwed up.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
SLPC.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these are definitely hate groups. There's a lot of them. It's growing. We've been noting it for years. Like, I go back in the history too. Like, a lot of the Nazi movement kind of died off because they were losing lawsuits and they were going to jail. And then a few years back, the feds lost a big case. Like, they had a big investigation against a bunch of Nazis and they lost, and they seemed to get scared because they didn't want to lose cases. They never lose cases. And then Trump happened for 4 years, and it's gotten really, and during that whole period of time too, they had Al-Qaeda to go after. So they had the easy cases, they didn't want to have to do the harder cases. I hope that Biden cracks down on these folks, because there's no doubt in my mind they're dangerous. We've seen what they do. They are criminal. They are violent. They are criminals. They're Nazis. A lot of them are Nazis. They're legitimate Nazis. There's no doubt about it.
And if you're willing to stand next to a Nazi, what does that make you?
Yeah. I mean, that's it. If you're associating with Nazis, guess what? Doesn't that kind of say a lot about you?
And if you're speaking the rhetoric that Nazis identify with enough to come to your rallies, maybe you're embarrassed to stand next to them, but they come because they like your rhetoric and they like what you're preaching. They like what you're stating. You're preaching Nazi bullshit, and you just need to accept that and not be like, oh no, I'm actually just a patriot or something.
Yeah, you can't stand there and be like, I'm with the band, but then, oh, I don't like their music though.
Yeah,
Just doing my job, as some famous Nazi once said.
Right. Yeah. So I'm wondering. Somebody was telling me they think that maybe Trump was behind the $2,000 checks to get more people there. That's kind of like an interesting thought.
Were they marching for checks? Because I mean, I might have been down with that, but I don't think
he was pushing for it.
Checks.
No, I mean they weren't, but he was. So maybe he was like hoping more people would have the money to get there.
Who knows? Patrick Wilson just. I don't know if this is true. We'll post it comments. You never know if they're true, but hopefully it's true. He says Trump's Twitter account just got suspended permanently. Looks like he's breaking some news there. Hopefully.
Oh wow, permanently! I thought it was just till the end of his term.
No. Facebook did it to the end of the term in Instagram.
Okay.
But Twitter had given him a 12-hour suspension.
Banned permanently, like every other week. So I don't know what that.
I know, right?
And we still can't get Turtle Boy off of Twitter for some reason. So
we'll see what happens. Again, we're the Young Jerks. My name is Mike Crawford. I got 3 guests here. I got Anna, Jeffrey. Actually, I got 4. Excuse me. I got 3 windows open of guests, 4 people on them. I got Anna, Jeffrey. I got Jeff here as well, Jeff Taylor. And I have Rod Weber and Lauren Pespiza, who are the 2 in one box right there. Is that weird?
How it's been.
Yeah.
Bonus screen. More than you can handle in one box.
You have Stalin.
For me, every time I have Lauren on, it feels like old times.
I know, right? It's good to see.
I have to mention, she's my old former co-host. I used to co-host with her for how many years?
Forever, Young
Did we do it for like 2 years together?
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, we had a good time.
We did.
We went through a lot. Like we interviewed some Nazis on the air.
We interviewed Nazis. We also interviewed first Black U.S. Congresswoman from Massachusetts, Ayanna Pressley, right before she won. First female Black district attorney in Boston, Rachel Rollins, right before she won.
We had a lot of Tito.
Yeah, a lot of Tito.
Oh, and the Boston Police camera action team that made the rule to put the body cams on the cops, which ended up leading to them discovering the abuses of the cops at the Black Lives Matter rally in at the end of May or June that the article in the Appeal was about. Yeah,
we did a lot. We covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, totally.
Like we do tonight. Hopefully people get something out of this. You know, I know one of the things that hasn't really been talked about, I notice, as much about this Trump riot is that there were bombs left there.
Yeah, pipe bombs.
I don't know why the media is not talking about this more.
I
didn't even hear that.
What do you guys know about it? Because I'm just hearing this myself, and I haven't read everything. I've been walking dogs all week. What do you guys hear about it?
So, I mean, I got a job, so I'm in the same boat. But I did hear there were pipe bombs outside of the Republican National Committee building that they found.
I heard Seth Moulton talking about it today, actually, on WGBH when I was driving, working.
Yeah.
I've heard the same stuff, but I'm doing Hollywood shit.
They found a pipe bomb. They found a pipe bomb. That means it would. I mean, obviously, we knew this was a coordinated attack, and also, honestly, this was way too much of an attack for a counter protest to even be necessary or worthwhile. This was a lot of people, and I mean, even if people showed up to counter protest, it could have been a slaughter fest, so people were hitting us both up was Rod there, and we're like, hell no. And this was that we all knew this was going to happen on the 6th. People were like, are you going down? And we're like, no, fuck that. But this was a coordinated attack, and there was bombs set up. There were a lot of plans laid out. I mean, this was open on the internet on the right-wing Twitter parlor thing. And, absolutely, this is a terrorist action, I think, especially with the bombs and everything and what happened in Tennessee just a couple weeks ago. And, there could be more. Hopefully not. Hopefully they kind of had their moment and will go away. But I don't know.
I'm not going to feel safe until after inauguration.
What?
I know. That's my next question. But before I get to that question about the inauguration, I want to post another comment that I just saw. Damn it, I just lost it. The comments come in so fast. Here it is. This is my friend from high school that he was a wrestling teammate, Henry. He's a total Republican. I love Hank, but I hate his politics. I'll just say that. But he says you need to add a conservative Republican and spice it up. Lauren, you've been around this show forever, and all our other panelists. I think you're familiar with the show. What would you say to Henry? So I don't have to answer my friend here.
I mean, you want to join? I don't know. Are you a conservative Republican? Because I don't actually know any anymore. Every single Trump supporter that I knew that I worked with back in the day who just loved Trump because, America, actually feel that Trump has betrayed them, especially during this COVID crisis, when we all got laid off. Like every single person I know who supports Trump has already decided that Trump is terrible and has, abandoned them.
I'm Tim Pool now.
Okay, there we go.
I wore the beanie tonight. I got a binge beanie, and I almost wore it tonight.
Hey, everyone, it's Tim Pool here. So the reason that we have to get behind these conservative ideals is these liberals, they, what they're doing is they're twisting the things around on you. They go back to the Occupy movement, which is what I was a part of. And if you think about, like, the people like Greg Hausch, and have you heard of Lauren Pespiza? She was like the administration person.
Listen, they're all Satanists. This is Alex Jones here, you little beanie.
They just didn't have the same stamina as Alex Jones. And so what we have to consider is that they're trying to do terrorism here. And if we listen to what QAnon is saying, they're dropping secret things, and it's in tandem.
I'm bored already. See, if I want that crap, I was going to ask the panelists. I haven't. All right, you just did your thing. I am bored by that. That's my answer. Who else in the panel? Does anyone else want to comment on the? We've heard from.
I have a ridiculous Tim Pool story.
Oh, I want to hear
Tim Pool story. I want to answer Henry more though, because before we get to we can do Tim Pool, but I feel like Henry. It's been done. The last I think Republican we had running for office ran out of the studio crying.
Oh, nice.
And he turned out to be a Nazi. I mean, maybe we can't call John Hugo a Nazi, but he hangs around with them. So
he was pretty much a Nazi, dude.
And we treated him really nicely, actually.
Yeah,
and
we did.
He still went out crying because they can't handle our audience.
He runs away from me.
It's too smart, too intelligent, and they won't put up with it. They won't. That's it. I don't want to put up with it. I'm bored by it. So, okay, we'll talk about Tim Pool. Sorry.
I just don't know any people who support Trump anymore. That's all. Tim Pool stories.
Dumb Tim Pool story. This is back when Barrett Brown was still fighting the charges, like a million years ago. I don't even know what year it was.
2014.
Probably.
Yeah.
Time, whatever. It's a thing, I hear. But we wound up in New York for a fundraiser. There was a joint thing for Barrett Brown and Jeremy Hammond. And this is a fairly non-friendly crowd, and some anons were there. And Tim Pool comes in wearing a fucking Google Glass.
Oh.
And I'm like, you can't wear that here. There are people who don't want to be recorded. You can't wear that here. He's like, but. And somebody comes over like, do you know who he is? What are you doing? I'm like, fuck him. He came in here with the Google Glass. I don't know who this shit is. Get him out of here. And years later, I was vindicated in not giving a fuck who Tim Pool is.
Good for you. That's creepy. That's creepy too.
If you want to hear creepy, I could talk about our bad date. But anyway.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Sometime offline.
It wasn't much, but
you said it now. Go ahead.
No. Actually,
listen.
I don't want to go on. I don't want to hear about anyone's dating.
Listen, there was nothing explicit that went
especially
on.
Lauren. So you know what? Let's talk about the inauguration, because I'm worried. I don't know about you guys. What do you think? Like, because the threats are there. Are they coming back? Is it going to get ugly? What do you think is going to happen?
I'd say it's a coin toss. They expended a lot of resources making this happen. It's not free to get to DC. It's not free to sit there. It's not. That there are resources that are involved in, frankly, keeping a standing army anywhere. Like, even, if you don't want to think of them in that way, that's still, it's a group of people who are here to fight. You need to keep them sheltered and fed and everything else. It costs resources. It's the 8th now. We have until the 20th. A bunch of them are wanted by the feds. There are challenges if they're going to actually go for that. At the same time, these people have proven that they, at least in their heads, are willing to die for this. Some of them, when push comes to shove, are really sad about the fact that they got pepper sprayed doing something that gets you pepper sprayed. But still in their heads, they have that, like, I'm a patriot, I'm willing to go down fighting. So the inauguration is the symbolic last chance for them to do that. So there's a lot of, internal pressure for them to do that. So I don't know. It wouldn't be easy for them to do it now because they expended all this effort on the 6th. But they still want it, I'm sure.
I would be more concerned about like a lone gunman or bomber type of situation. I feel like the security at the inauguration, especially after this, is going to be extremely high. I don't think there could be a mass swarming of the stage for the inauguration. What I would be concerned with would be somebody extremely intelligent or calculated doing some sort of assassination.
And that's what I'm talking about. Do you think like I wonder if they've been talking about this for years. They've been talking about the race war, and I just wonder. It just seems like who the heck knows? I mean, I just get worried. Like they might even do something at state capitals. They might, there's a rally this Saturday in Swampscott. I'm just wondering how that's going to go.
You mean Sunday?
No, Saturday. Sunday's in Malden, right?
Yeah, Sunday we're yelling about the local Nazis.
But I'm talking about Saturday, Diana Ploss and them, right? Aren't they going back on Saturday to Swampscott
Sunday
again?
Morning.
Oh, it's Sunday? I thought it was Saturday. Thank you.
I think that's why they need to be arrested. I think if the people that were there that we have identified in DC that were there in the Capitol building, now that they've come home to their state, or if they're in DC still, if we know where they are, the more of them that get arrested, the less likely it is that more is going to happen.
I think that's the answer too. I think that we got to hold them all responsible.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in terms of like Enrique, he got arrested violating, what was it, probation or bail with assault rifle. He's had like too much ammo. I forget what that's called.
Oh, he just had a gun and a couple of clips.
He had some clips that
it was an AR-15.
An AR-15 clips, and he got arrested and he got bailed out the next day, or he was able to leave the next day. And like, actually, you know what? When I got arrested for driving on a suspended license, I didn't get bail the next day. I had to stay in jail for 3 months.
I bet you didn't snitch on anyone.
Of course not.
Right.
So you wonder when people get out let out very quickly.
Maybe that's it.
It seems to me if someone's a gang leader, which I consider him a gang leader.
Yeah, that's true.
I always suspect the gang leader is snitching on people to get out of jail after Whitey Bulger. So that's what I would start, to any of your Trump people who are lower level in this bullshit, you better start thinking about your boss gang member might snitch you out, because that happens quite a bit, actually. I'm not saying I have any evidence, but.
So I think the issue is not so much like the people like Nick Fuentes or Baked Alaska, like these are like open white supremacists who are caught on camera, like that first day saying white supremacist shit. But the people who aspire to be like them, who haven't quite made their mark yet, and they're going to try to make their mark by bringing that clip and doing something extra with it. Those are the people that I think that you'd have to worry about on Inauguration Day. And then since you've obviously we've seen the videos of the cops waving people along, they're either sympathetic or they've been given the order to stand down. I don't know exactly what it is, and we'll never know exactly what it is, but whatever it is, it's fishy. And yeah, there's definitely room for mayhem, and things could get very ugly on Inauguration Day. So we have to, certainly be careful about that. I mean, the real question is, are they even going to allow an inauguration like they have in years past? Trump himself is all behind bulletproof glass now, so I'm sure they'll do that with Biden. How much access are they even going to allow people to this thing?
Yeah, people are actually commenting on that. The public, Ronald Kinney wrote, the public swearing-in ceremony should be canceled. It's only going to inflame the cult of Trump extremists even more. And I believe he was the one that also confirmed definitely that Twitter did actually. Here's a statement from Twitter. After close review of recent tweets from the real Donald Trump account and the context around them, we have permanently suspended the account due to the risk of further incitement of violence. I mean, that says it all. Like that's your president. That's who you supported. Like the legal people at Twitter have determined that this guy is too much of a risk to let him.
Hey, I don't mean to brag, but I just won a lawsuit against Trump for him being a violent person who incites violence.
Tell us about that too, because this is what people need to hear. You've been there. I've seen you. You've gotten assaulted. Michael Picard's gotten assaulted. Steve Schaefer. You guys go out there and you film and you basically you're Rod, you're fearless. I've never seen somebody like you. You have no fear among these people, among the police especially, which I'd be more afraid of the police in some respects, but you have no fear. But tell us about the lawsuit, because you won a big lawsuit and it was about violence in the Trumpers.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll try to give you the abbreviated version. So back in 2015, people might forget, but Donald Trump was best known as being a WWE star and a game show host. And so he's not taken seriously whatsoever. And at this time, he was just spitballing ideas for what to do next at his rally. This was in Rochester, New Hampshire. I was at this one, and he ran out of things to say and said, "Okay, what should we talk about now?" And people were shouting out. He said for people to shout out. I shouted a Bible verse, and he said, "Can you give me one?" So I said, 1 Timothy 3:1-7, "It's noble to seek the office of overseer, but he who does should be above reproach, sober-minded, not quarrelsome, married only once, and not a lover of money." So I got my ass kicked for that. So flash forward about a week and a half, and there was a multi-candidate thing with Trump and Bernie Sanders and everyone in between. So there was a lot of candidates there. It was not, but I bring that up because it was not a Trump rally, and so that's. We have to. It's very specific to bring that up, to know that his goons did not have authority there. His security people, at least if it was his own rally, he'd be able to make the argument that they have dominion over the people that are there. So he did not have that. He gave his 20 minutes of remarks, and there was problems with the PA system all throughout, and he'd been encouraging people to shout out. I did not shout out, but when the Q&A was supposed to start, the PA didn't work. And so I was about 5 feet away from him. I politely raised my hand and said, "I was roughed up at your previous rally. Can you speak to that?" Or words to that effect. And right as he's responding, they're like plugging the PA in. A lot of noise came on, and he quipped very quickly, "You look healthy to me." Didn't hear what he said. It was just like, boom, it was like that. And so I'm like, "Oh, geez, I still want to ask my question." And so this guy, Eddie John Deck Jr., who had just beaten up a bunch of Mexican protesters at Trump Tower the month previously, says, "You got to go to the back of the room and get the microphone." So I go to the back of the room. The microphone, there's no mic, and I knew he was bullshitting me, but there was no microphone there. So I turn around to go back to my seat, and they made a human wall around me. So that's in legal parlance, that's what's known as false imprisonment, and that it not so much have to do with like putting someone in a prison, but when you inhibit your freedom of movement, that's called false imprisonment. So I basically stood my ground, which is a big thing popular among the right wingers, unless you're a lefty and you're standing your ground. And he's trying to tell me, "You got to get the fuck out of here," and I'm like, "Well, no." And so then other guys came in like, you got to get the fuck out of here. And they start acting like Tony Soprano. They're getting in my face. And I'm like, "Hey man, like, I'm not about that." And, I'm like, "Well, what's your name?" "You're about to see my name all over your face." This kind of talk. I continue to hold my ground. And then in the video, now out of my range of vision, a bunch of guys start pointing like, "This is the guy." And then in come the cops from behind me, without giving me any warning. They grab me by the shoulders, pull me back. This guy, Eddie Deck, he joins in. They throw me into a table, WWE style, face first. Throw me to the ground some more, rough me up, all this shit. Take me outside, detain me. I ask them, "I'm being detained," and they do. And then they release me. And when I asked to press charges, then they did what's called a retaliatory arrest. So now the original crime, assault and battery, that's a bad crime as it is. But then it got 1,000 times worse when they did the retaliatory arrest, because as they always say, the cover up is worse than the crime. So then they start falsifying the police report and falsifying affidavits, which gets them into fucking perjury. And then Basically, when I filed this complaint against them, it was against the Trump administration, or I'm sorry, the Trump campaign, the two Trump organizations, Edward Deck, his shell company. And what they do, they create all these shell companies. There's two Trump organizations, and no one knows that. And this is done to obfuscate and obscure and make people file against the wrong company. There's the Trump. Okay, she's giving me the look that this is too boring. So I'm going to move it along. But the point being is that I went after him with respondeat superior alter ego doctrine. And basically, I zinged him for $20,000 is what I was awarded from Trump, and $15,000 from the Manchester police. Basically, because they beat the shit out of me. And it got to that point where, listen, you did the crime. And unfortunately, this is a gentleman's agreement. How much money does it cost to do the crime? And that's really the only recourse we have. So it's simultaneously, a great win for, journalists, standing up to Trump. But it's a travesty of justice because $20,000 to Trump, that don't mean shit to him.
Yeah, he paid he paid $200,000 just to fight your case.
Exactly.
So,
I did cost him a little bit of money. So, and actually, I just got. Oh wait, hold on. Here it is.
oh yeah, show us
Here
the
it
money.
is.
Show us the money.
Wait, where? Damn it, where is it? Damn it.
Oh my God, Rod.
Okay, here it is.
Is the check or the judgment?
We already he already cashed the Trump check.
We-
I was there.
That's
anyway.
So yeah, this is the new one from Manchester. So yeah,
That's from the Manchester Police Department.
We're messing with you.
from those
For throwing you
motherfuckers.
for throwing you onto a table.
Yeah.
His head through a table, I believe, and punches in the kidneys.
Well, that was at the previous rally, but
Okay,
yeah, it all adds up.
You know what? Rod gets assaulted like every other day by somebody. It's about time you got to
It's
pay
about
out.
time you got paid for it.
If you or a loved one has been assaulted at a protest, call the law offices of R.K. Weber, 877 cash now.
Lauren's my excitement barometer. I can get too heavy-handed. I get into the legalese here.
No, she's acting like my co-host again. I like it. And now she's cutting people off. I love it. Like I trained her well.
Just like old times.
Yeah. That used to be my
I
thing.
think it's for the best because this lawsuit was easily 1,000 pages deep, and I'm known to bore people to tears. And in fact, Trump's Twitter account is suspended. Okay,
It's confirmed. Greg House
confirmed by two
Greg
people I
House
definitely
confirmed
trust. We have 3 people who've confirmed it. I think we're good on that.
But I just did a 3-hour podcast getting into the nitty gritty, and yeah, it can.
I literally fell asleep watching it.
So we're the Young Jerks. My name is Mike Crawford. We got 3 great guests here: Jeff Taylor, Anna Jeffrey. I say 4 guests. 3 windows. 4 guests. Rod Weber and Lauren Pespiza. They're one person. They're just one. They said we are.
I was saying, like, should we come up with a cute name like Benifer or like
let's do it right now. It'd be like
we're just a production company. We're not
Rod Spiza. Rod Spiza. Yeah.
Rod Spiza.
Web Spiza.
Web
Lever.
Lod.
We'll come up with something.
What'd you say, Anna?
Web pizza, obviously.
Web pizza. There we go. Web pizza. That sounds Italian. Yeah. Web pizza.
Okay, whatever.
All right.
It's not public yet, so shut up.
Someone said Team Ramrod.
I said nothing.
I don't know what that.
Oh my God. I did enjoy that bar back.
That was good, Dan. You Team Ramrod. Good, Dan.
And now
Thanks
we know
for
that
listening.
Dan Skelton's hung out at Ramrod.
And we know that Dan is listening and he's quick on his feet. That was
Dan's
really
always
good.
listening.
I want to thank you all for coming and spending some time on this tonight. What happens next? Like, where do you see? Are these Nazis going to continue? And I say this like clearly, to people who don't understand, we've been watching a lot of these right-wing people get worse and worse. They're getting more. They're getting worse. They're getting more violent. They're getting more crazy. And they're growing. It seems like they're growing in numbers. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe
No,
my
they have
impression.
been growing this whole year.
Do you think this is going to continue, though, that Trump is going to be out of office or not? What's everyone's quick answer on that?
Yes.
You do, Rod.
Away unless we do something. If we arrest some people now, I think we have a better chance of them going away. But I don't think they're just going to go away on their own. They're so far off the horse dumb that they're just not all of a sudden going to realize that, oh, wait, I've been so stupid all these years. I just think it's too far gone without somebody doing something about it.
Anna?
Like Jeff said, it is all about what our response is. A lot of people got, protest fatigue over this last year, and a lot of people were really correctly focused on electoral work, and because of that, there was a little bit less make the Nazis uncomfortable, and comfortable Nazis get to plan more and get to do more and get to have more fun and get to recruit more. So unless we make them miserable, we can expect this to continue indefinitely.
Now notice, like, in this group here, Rod and Lauren do a lot of that, and some other folks we mentioned. We spend a little time on the show on it. Like we're like, our next show is back to electoral politics, because now Mayor Walsh has an open seat. We got a lot of races coming up, governor's races. What's your advice to someone like us that? What do we spend time on? Do we spend a lot more time on this Nazi issue, or do we? So
you say correctly return to electoral politics. I say correctly. Me and Lauren engaged in much ridicule. I believe that there's ridicule has just as much a place as engaging in the electoral process.
Absolutely.
Because every time you show up there with a giant dick that says Trump on it, they don't want to be at that rally next time.
Yeah, totally.
And so, we did a lot of that. We've got a giant vagina over here that
we've kept the shit to shoe level in Massachusetts to some extent by embarrassing them off the stage most of the time when we show up, sometimes making them cry.
You notice, Lauren, I notice how many of them hate you. They call you names. Like, it's really kind of disgusting when they call a girl name. Like,
okay.
I'm like, wow, Lauren triggered them that much. Like, I was like, wow, I'm so proud of her. I don't think I get that hate.
Law and Order. They're a little offended and a little embarrassed somehow. And like, they're not going to punch me because that would look bad, but they're still going to run away and not want to get a picture with me and my giant dick.
They get really mad at you, though. It's weird.
Oh, yeah. No, everybody got mad at me this year. It's been weird.
I'm not mad at you, Lauren.
I love you. I'm not mad at you either, girl. But, also electoral politics right now, like I just, after the news yesterday about Marty Walsh getting out of our way happened, I am so stoked to get back to the
right.
I'm like, you know what? Like, I hope that these, alt-right, white supremacists, super happy, fun America. I mean, I think they're going to get tired or arrested, at least on the local level. Like, fingers crossed, knock on wood and all that. Like, I just don't see them coming back, like, in a dangerous way right now in Massachusetts and whatever. But, like, right now, like, yes, the fucking mayoral, sorry, I've been swearing.
It's okay.
The mayoral race is extremely important. And I was more excited than I was more excited about Marty Walsh leaving Boston yesterday than I was about, like I was more into that news than I was about the storm of Capitol Hill by the alt-right.
It's you know what? The last couple of days, it's just been crazy.
It's been
you go from the Senate races, the Democrats won, first black, Georgia senator, and then the riots, and then Marty Walsh. It's just been like,
yeah.
And Trump just got suspended from Twitter permanently while we're on the air right now. I mean, there's just so much happening.
I actually think things are looking up, believe it or not, at least for Boston.
We didn't even mention COVID-19 is at like an all-time high, more cases than ever before, more deaths. I mean, this is
it's terrible.
It is, and people are hurt. A lot of people.
When they stormed the Capitol, like I'm worried they went right back in that night and like God bless them, voted to elect Biden.
I hope Nancy Pelosi wiped off that seat good, bleached that motherfucker.
Yeah, like
that's what she's getting at.
I really hope that they didn't because they weren't wearing masks when they raided the Capitol. A lot of them, I really hope that they disinfected that place because a lot of people are going to get it. That was a super spreading situation.
As much as I disapprove of Nancy Pelosi and her shenanigans, and she won't bring Medicare for all to the floor.
Right.
I don't want her to die from that guy getting his butthole on her seat.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I was reading a statement from Rep. Wolf who said when they stormed the Capitol, they brought them all into a locked room, and there was like 200 or 300 people in that locked room. And a lot of freshman reps aren't wearing masks. Not everybody was wearing masks. So potentially they brought them into a super spreader event, trying to get away from the insurrectionists.
Seth Moulton, the congressman, was talking about that on WGBH today, and that basically the Republicans, they said if you don't put on masks, we're going to start taking your picture and put it online. And as soon as they said that, all of a sudden, some of those Republicans started putting on masks. So
like,
it shows
we don't believe in COVID.
They don't care about their other fellow human beings in the room, but they care about their image. I mean, that's just says it all right there.
So, Mike, you asked what people can do, and I assume by people you mean people who aren't willing to get pepper sprayed or beat up by Nazis, yeah?
Just everybody, yes.
So,
perfect.
One of the things that I do, I work in our local mutual aid group, and I've done a lot of work trying to put together these to-do lists for people who aren't radicals but see that we are living in radical times and want to do something. But not everybody is temperamentally suited for the front lines, right? So the short version: provide emotional support for the people who are able to do that stuff. People like Rod and Lauren, anybody who's willing to, put their body on the line. If you're not willing to do that, give them, a shoulder to cry on, an ear to listen. Like, that's super big, because burnout is a huge issue for people who do this. And if you want them to continue annoying Nazis sustainably, they need to be able to blow it off afterwards. Participate in your local mutual aid group. Make sure that you are dealing with food insecurity and housing insecurity in your community, because vulnerable people are vulnerable to extremist recruitment. So everything that we can do to keep our communities safe and connected keeps the Nazi ideology out. So that's something that's extremely respectable, and you can start to do. Talk.
I just want to say that it can be. Because I'm gonna, I get so passionate about this stuff, because I could easily have fallen for the crap. I could have easily been at that Capitol building, 10 years ago. I kind of started dabbling in the craziness.
Joint on the steps, I could see that, but
no. Back about early Alex Jones, I was hook, line, and sinker into that shit. I really was. And I was going Mr. Libertarian. And I remember I railed so much in one video against Obama and his healthcare program that someone reached out to me that I actually respect and said, "Hey, are you okay?" And dude, and the truth of it is, I wasn't doing that okay at that point. Right. I wonder why I was going a little crazy politically at that point. It's reality.
Well,
you got to reaching out.
I still say fuck Obama, but his health care plan is okay.
There you go.
You mean Romney's?
You know what I mean? Like, to be mad at somebody about the health care plan, when you look at it now, it's like I love Obamacare. I mean, it could be better, obviously. Everything could be better, always, but it's one of the good things we have. It's like Social Security. How can you be against that?
Yeah.
You're talking about we hate socialism. Like, I'm talking about issues. I'm not talking about socialism, the boogeyman, or communism, or we're talking about issues,
Can we get UBI next, please?
Yeah, let's do UBI, but we don't have time. We have to go. Okay. We kept everyone extra long on a Friday night. We got to go have fun now. And I want to thank, and this was a test run. This was a great show. I want to thank all four of our guests. I don't even know what I'm doing, and it went easy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't record. I don't know. We'll figure that one out, but whatever. It worked.
This wasn't recorded?
No, it's always recorded. It's streamed everywhere. You can save it. There's ways you can, I don't even worry about that. It probably was actually recorded. I just don't know, Rod.
Did you take?
I have no idea what I'm doing, and it worked. Like, this is streaming. I mean, I'm not saying
you can actually, Mike, you can record bands on this too. Like, Crespo was testing this out with me and Herb and a few friends. This Streamlabs thing, like recording music virtually.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's
it actually works
good.
pretty well for stuff. So
it works easy.
Yeah,
so I want to thank StreamYard, but I want to thank I would thank StreamYard even more if they gave it to me for free, or maybe sponsored us.
You should try to get some cannabis sponsors.
Oh, we have some. We've had them in the past. We'll get some more. Yeah, I mean.
Hey, Mike, are they going to open a cannabis place in Brighton? My roommate said.
Am I or somebody else?
What?
Did you say am I?
No, is somebody opening a cannabis store in Brighton?
I have no idea. I'm sure
my roommate said something to me, and I'm like, I should know about this. But
I have no idea. I can't keep track of every dispensary open in the area. People
Okay.
assume that I know, but I have no idea.
Well, get on it.
No, I got too much other stuff to do. But speaking of cannabis sponsors and that stuff, once this COVID thing is lifted, we're going to be doing some great events. Live events. You know how our you remember our last live event, Lauren? You were there.
That was your birthday party
It
thing.
was my birthday party. Politicians there, and
Yeah.
of course, mad cannabis smoke everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So
And that was over in
bring,
Everett.
like, where else are you going to be able to hang around with politicians and cannabis in one place? Like,
Hell yeah.
that's us. Like, we'll bring it there.
It was a good. I miss that. I miss those times. Honestly, I'm still like, talking to everybody I know from all these events online. It's like, oh, I can't wait to see everyone again.
Our audience is giving me tips on how to use the StreamYard. You see that? You guys see
nice.
the comments? Actually, you do see the
this
comments.
is a
don't you?
great
Yeah, we see them pop up.
What is it?
It's nice that we can actually see the comments.
Yeah, I
You
see the
can.
comments.
Okay,
Like,
you do. You
there
do.
should be an
Okay.
option to download the stream once you shut it down.
Because-
Ronald Kinney
Oh, yeah.
said. Thank you,
Yeah.
Ronald Kinney.
Because on Restream, you don't get this option on the other side of it.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Oh, not as a
Not on the
Yeah.
other side.
yeah.
Yeah, and the other software I was using, you couldn't either. There's a
Okay.
lot of benefits to using the StreamYard. I think I'm going to get rid of Zoom now. I think I'm going to cancel
Interesting.
my Zoom subscription and just go with StreamYard.
Interesting.
Mm.
Well, I might be starting up Renters Radio again at some point soon, hopefully. I don't know. We're working on different things, but I might go that route as well if it works out. So let me know.
Awesome. We got more comments. You guys all rock. Keep up the great work. Yeah, people like the show tonight. We got a lot of comments, and I didn't even post them all, but I posted quite a few of them. Hey, if something's not true in the comments, don't kill us. All right, we're just trying to let people air their comments.
Shout out to Tim Pool.
Yeah. Alex Jones, I got the documents right here. New World Order, brother.
Oh God.
So I want to thank again.
Floss.
Yeah, Diana Ploss.
Ah. All right.
Hopefully she gets locked up soon.
She probably will. She was there. She's all over the place there. So
We'll see what happens. I
Yeah.
want to thank again Anna Jeffrey for I don't know what do we call this, StreamYarding with us tonight?
Sure.
Is that what do we call it? Video? I don't
Streaming.
know. I used to say call in, but it's not a call in anymore. I don't know. Streaming?
I go with calling in.
Still calling in?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Thanks for calling in, Rod
Sure.
and Lauren and Jeff
And-
Taylor.
thank you, Jeff and Anna. And Mike. It's so good to see your faces after so long. It feels like forever. So
It is.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This has been awesome.
I
I
wanna-
like StreamYard. Fan of seeing the young jerks back together here. The Mike and Lauren. Maybe we'll do this more often.
We might. You know, I
might.
might even ask Lauren to come on my show tomorrow night. We'll
okay.
see.
I'll be
I have
available.
a special show tomorrow night. I want people to know. I got to make
Okay.
sure people know. I have Calla Walsh. I hope I said
Oh,
her first name
nice.
right. Do you know who she is?
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she is. It's going to be quite a show. It's
Interesting.
I know we'll be talking about the mayor of Boston, that race, the election. I know I want to ask her about, oh man, I forgot his name actually, but she's been harassing some people online who are running for office, who are in office. We'll be all over,
Yeah. No, I'm gonna I'm gonna dive back into boss poly soon.
Yeah.
Was
Mass politics.
Yeah.
was Rayla down there?
I don't know. I never saw any evidence that Rayla was down there, but she may have been.
So
Rayla's
again,
old news. Forget about Rayla.
yeah, frig Rayla. We're gonna talk about Kayla Walsh from now on.
Yeah.
Next generation. Rayla is old news now, right?
Yeah, Rayla's done.
She didn't even I don't even think she got enough votes to show up on the screen when they're 0.01%. You know what I mean?
No. She never even got on the ballot. That's what we asked her. How many votes did you get in the primaries? And she she spat in our faces and freaked out.
The funny thing was when Samson conceded.
Oh, even Samson was like, she didn't get
So,
enough.
yeah.
She didn't get enough, guys. I'm like, well, why'd she just accuse me of assaulting her when she assaulted me? He's like, I don't know. Rayla's crazy. I'm like, thanks, Samson.
It's funny when all of the crazies all think they're they all fight each other now too.
Oh, I
So-
love it. I love it. It's my
That's
favorite.
great. But we gotta go again.
Okay.
Last comment. I put it up again. You guys all rock. Keep up the great work. I feel like that about everyone on this call tonight. So
I
thank
feel
you.
like that about this anonymous Facebook user commenting.
Yeah. You keep up the good work too,
You keep up
anonymous
the good
Facebook.
work,
You know what's weird too is like some of the comments come right in with their names and some of them don't. They say
Yeah, I don't
Facebook
know
user.
what the deal is with that.
I think it's when they comment in the group and maybe we're not friends with them. I don't know. Or
I
maybe
don't
they
know.
have a privacy setting. Well, I don't know. We'll try to figure that out. But
Okay.
I'm just glad the comments come up. I don't even care.
Yeah.
They're a Facebook user.
The more the merrier.
All right, we're out of here with the Young Jerks tomorrow night, 5 p.m. I believe it is. Yeah, 5 p.m. Saturday night we're going to be with Calla Walsh, if I'm saying her name right, and we're going to be talking everything Massachusetts politics in Massachusetts, young people. She worked on the Ed Markey campaign,
That's
and
right.
really a young person in Massachusetts that's doing stuff, and really I'm shocked at how intelligent she is. And how much she gets under people's skin and how popular she is already. So, yeah, her stuff is really good. You've been following it, right, Lauren?
Honestly, like I'm shocked at how much every time I open Twitter, she's like one of the first tweets I see.
Yeah, and it's always
liking her shit. So
yeah, we always like it. Do you always like it?
she's
And I'm always retweet.
retweeting.
I was thinking about the two people I probably retweet and share the most.
Yeah,
And I think it's Calla Walsh, number one, and then like Shalene Title in the cannabis space is probably number two. Like on Twitter,
Yeah.
like I'm always like retweeting and sharing their stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we're the Young Jerks tomorrow night, Saturday night, 5 p.m. We'll see you soon. I want to again thank all our guests. And now I got to figure out how to end the broadcast. I think I know how to do that. I don't know if you guys will stick around. I don't know if you can.
Find out.
We'll find out.
I don't know. I got to pay.